I solemnly swear that I will tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. So help me God.
Yeah, hi everybody. Ron here from The Truth About Addiction. Welcome. Today's guest is Skinny Vinny or Vince Imperati. I probably said that wrong, but look, I've seen Vince's stuff and I just thought, fuck, man, you know, someone having fun in recovery, because to me, recovery is about having fun. It's not about being miserable. And, you know, they have a term called a dry drunk, and you got that old bastard sitting in the corner like, don't fucking swear in meetings, you know, like, fucking don't do this, don't do that, don't do this. Man, I got clean and I started hanging out with chicks that I wanted to hang out with. I went and bought a massage parlor because I like the business so much. I bought one, you know, and, you know, I'm a career criminal. And, you know, like, man, I got clean to stop the pain.
Yeah.
Vinny, welcome to The Truth About Addiction, mate. I'm really excited to have you on. And it's really funny. I don't get excited much. And today I've been like nervous, and I like that shit, man. It's like going to meet the dealer.
Cool. Yeah, dude, I get it, man. And again, thank you for having me on. And like I was saying before, man, it's like, yeah, it's like sobriety is about the having fun. And to me, it's like almost, for some of the shit that I do, it's almost pushing through the fear, which is fun for me, because I live in a lot of fear, you know, with like my career and you know, doing dangerous shit and pushing through the fear sober is like a whole nother level, you know, and it's so much more fun. And, you know, just being able to do the shit that I haven't been able to do pretty much my whole life. Doing it now sober is like the sickest shit ever, you know?
Yeah. I watched some of your clips, the one you're doing the back somersault on the trampoline. They set you on fire. I was like, that fucking burnt. That hurt.
Yeah.
That hurt.
Yeah, that one, my whole back was, I had blisters, second-degree burns throughout my whole back.
Yeah.
I was, that one took me out for a few weeks.
Yeah, I was watching it. And as you said, man, you know, we get clean and all the emotions and feelings come back, and then we have to push through them. And that's what recovery is, pushing through it, no matter what. Yeah. So your story was you started using at a young age, I guess?
Yeah, started using it at a young age, but it wasn't, I didn't go straight to the harder drugs, you know? I was like a normal teenager, smoking weed, drinking, going to parties, like my school life was kind of normal, you know, and but I loved it. That was the thing, you know. It's like I loved smoking weed. I loved getting drunk. I loved taking acid. I loved taking ecstasy. You know, it's like when I found these vices, it was just like, oh man, this is what I've been looking for my whole life, you know, and then finally found it. And then I take everything to the extreme, no matter what, you know. Even in my sobriety, I take shit to the extreme. So it's like, whatever I do, I don't just drink socially. Like, I drink to get blacked out.
Yep.
You know, I can't just smoke one joint. I have to smoke a whole ounce. I you know, it's like I can't just take one hit of LSD. I have to take 3 and trip for 2 days. You know, I take everything to the extreme. And yeah, and then it like slowly graduated to like the harder stuff, you know, like Percocets and Oxys, and then heroin and crack and cocaine and injecting, and you know, you name it, I'll do it. I don't give a fuck what it is. Like, you name it, I'll do it. I'm a fucking dumpster. No matter what you throw at me, I'll fucking put it in a needle and shoot it. Yeah. You know, like that's what I love to do. I'm a fucking real deal junkie. But yeah, man, it was a slow burn. But once it really started burning, you know, shit really hit the fan.
Yeah. What you said is my story, except for my story, was a little bit different as far as I went to heroin straight away.
Yeah.
I just went straight to the top shelf, but I was obsessed. I mean, I had a shot today. I went and seen the deal and said, how much are ounces? How much do you make on it? Because I was a criminal and I was selling lots of weed, you know. I was selling, you know, buying 100 pounds of weed, and I was selling weed, and like it was making the whole block of units smell bad. You know, when you got 100 pound of weed in your unit, everyone in the fucking unit smells a pot. And I'm like, this is shit, you know, we're going to get busted. And I seen this little bag of heroin, and I was like, fucking, how much did he pay for that? Those days, I'm an old bastard, you know, it's $500 an ounce.
Yeah, for sure.
How many caps can we make? $30 a cap. Okay, we're changing ship. And I became my own best customer so quickly. And then I never drank again. I never didn't smoke weed again. I just had to use heroin. It was just such a seductive drug. He promised me the world and gave me an atlas. You know, it's like, fuck yeah, you know, like what the hell? How come no one told me about this shit? But this was 1970. I was looking at your date of birth. I've been clean longer than you've been alive. Fuck, man. It makes me feel old. Makes me feel like a fucking dinosaur. Yeah, 1974 it was. I injected my heroin first time. You know, like, wow. But so quickly it went downhill.
Yeah. I mean, it's crazy, man. Like when I say like no matter what drug it is, I'll do, that's true. But my main love was heroin.
Yeah.
You know, like my main thing was like I have to make sure I have my heroin, then I'll go out and try, if I have enough money, try to go out and find everything else. But if I don't have my heroin, fuck, like I'm fucked, everybody else around me is fucked. I'm gonna go try to steal something from somebody, you know. And yeah, man, it was as soon as I tried heroin for the first time, I stopped smoking. I stopped everything, like all the bullshit, you know, like weed, drinking. I never had another drink, you know, like all that, like little kid shit, you know, like yeah, like I wanted nothing to do with it because I needed to spend all my money and all my time and energy on heroin, and I would consider myself a very bad career criminal. You know, like I've gotten caught, and I like to do my own. I like to get high on my own supply. Yeah. So it's like my career criminal time was like, at the time I thought I was great. You know, it's like, oh, I'm selling enough just so I can get high. You know, it's like, oh shit. You know, like, but yeah, I was not too good at the career criminal life.
Yeah, I was lucky. I was trained.
Yeah.
I was born into a life of crime. My father was a gangster, so I was taught. But I wasn't that good. I spent 15 years in prison over the time. I went back and did 8 years in recovery.
Wow.
I went back to prison at 16 years sober.
Wow.
And spent 8 years in a maximum security prison, clean.
Wow. How did that's crazy.
It was different. It was different.
Yeah,
I ended up starting a rehab in prison.
Whoa.
The only way you can stay clean is by giving it away, man.
That's true. That's very true.
Everybody goes, oh, wow, what a nice guy. No, what a smart guy. I had to save my own ass.
Yeah, totally.
You know, we can only keep it by giving it away. So I was so lucky. I started helping people. And then the governor of the jail, the general manager, realized what I was doing and said, we can do something. I'll give you a whole unit. And then we got alcohol counsellors in, and I ran the show and I wrote the programs, and it's fucking insane. When you think about it, it is insane, man. It was just out of the world. But the stuff,
I mean, how you just said, like you can only keep what you have by giving it away. You know, like it's so true. And they say, you know, like the program is a very selfless program, right? But I also like to think of it as a very selfish program, because like you're helping other people to save your own ass. 100%. You know, so it's like, yeah, you're selfless, you're being of service, but you're doing it to save your own ass. So it's also kind of selfish. But it's like it's the best of both worlds. So it's great.
The whole thing's very paradoxical, you know, like you can only keep what you got by giving it away. The most important person in the room is a newcomer. No, I'm the most important person in this fucking
yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I say it, you know, because, you know, I'm 37 and a half years clean, and I've been doing this shit for 42 years, you know, and I still say I'm number one. I'm still the most important person in this room.
Yeah, totally.
You know, if you're looking for a spiritual guru, you rang the wrong number, man, you know. Yeah. I'm just a recovering junkie trying to stay clean one day at a time for the last 37 and a half years. And I'm one shot away from being a junkie.
Yeah.
I know that. I know that because I relapsed for the first 5 years. I had 3 relapses, you know, and fucking horrific, you know, like once you get information and you know there's a way out, man, you know,
It's crazy.
you've got to take that. You've got to grab it by both hands. And
For sure.
as I've noticed with you, you're saying, you know, now you're doing all this stuff clean, but you're doing it better.
Absolutely.
And you're doing it
Absolutely.
with emotion and heart and fucking purpose, you know? And we've got to have a purpose.
Yeah. I mean, that I worked in treatment for a few years. My first few years in recovery, I worked in treatment.
Yeah.
And that's what I used to tell my clients a lot. You know, it's like, yeah, for sure. The program is a huge part of sobriety. Like the steps, obviously, you know, like service work. Yeah, of course. But for me, the biggest part of everything was like finding a purpose, right? And I used to tell my guys all the time, like, that purpose isn't gonna be what you want it to be right away. Like, but it will come. I used to tell my guys used to get so mad when I used to say this. I'd be like, you need a fucking purpose. Go find an old lady and help her walk her dogs.
Yep.
That's your purpose for right now. You know, it's like your purpose, the purpose that you want isn't just gonna fucking fall on your lap right away, but it will eventually, because that's how it happened for me and so many people that I know in the program. So have like a purpose is so important to me, and I feel like that was one of the biggest things that kept me sober. You know, like I owe a huge portion of my sobriety to having a purpose and feeling fulfilled, you know, fulfilled and content.
And connection.
And connection, yes.
Having like-minded people doing the same shit, man. You know, like when I got clean, of course, I gravitated toward the other criminals. And, you know, even though, you know, we were clean, we still hung out together. We traveled the world, you know, slept with women and, you know, done whatever you do, you know, when you're crazy. And, you know, I was talking to a young lady the other day. I did a podcast with her. She's beautiful. I've known her for 35 years. And she said to me, man, what about when you first get clean, how horny you get? And I started laughing. And she's a really attractive woman. And I said, she's getting on, when I say she's 59 now, but she's still beautiful. And she said, I remember when I first got clean, she goes, I knocked out 27 masturbations in one day. And I was like, oh, motherfucker, you know, like, I'm just an amateur.
Yeah, for sure.
We get all these feelings back and all these emotions back, and next thing, bang, you know, we've got this whole new world of feelings. Because everyone just thinks the feelings are negative. No, they're not. They're beautiful.
Yeah.
I've got children. I watch my children be born. What a feeling. Better than any drug I ever used.
Yeah.
Watching someone get clean. Better than any drug I ever used.
100%. Yeah.
I was watching some of your stuff and some of the people you're connecting with and having fun and that, and I'm going, this is what recovery is about, man.
Yeah, it really is, man. And like, for me, it was like, so I tried getting sober for like 6 years. I think the first time I actually tried, I was like 25 years old. And it just, I think a small part of me still had that reservation of like, I'm gonna get loaded, but later on kind of thing. And it just never worked. I just think, you know, I just wasn't ready. And you can't get anybody sober until they're ready. Like, until they're ready to get sober. You can't push anybody, you can't force anybody, you can't fucking manipulate nothing, you know. So it just took a long time. Like, I was introduced to the rooms at like 25, and it just took a while for me to understand that, like, I didn't know what's best. You know, like, my whole life, I always thought I knew what's best for me. I always think I knew just having control, you know, like my way or the fucking highway. And so it's like, but I feel like I got really lucky when I got sober, because I feel like what happened to me is like rarer than like getting struck by lightning. Because what I do for a living and what I've been able to accomplish I'll have 6 years sober in February. And thank you. And just what I've been able to accomplish, not even in these 6 years, but just within these last 2 years, I have been dreaming about since I was 10 years old. So it's like, I like with having the podcast with Steve, you know, being friends with all the Jackass guys. Like I've had pictures of them on my wall since I was a kid.
Yeah, right.
And when Jackass came out on TV back in the year 2000, I remember looking at it, and at that time I think I was like 14 years old. And I remember looking at the TV, pointing at the TV and saying, "Mom, this is what I want to do when I grow up. I want to do stupid shit with my friends and travel the world."
Yeah.
You know, and she just laughs. You know, my mom was very supportive, you know, and she just laughs. She's like, "Oh, okay, you know, like we'll get you there," you know. And but as I got older, you know, it's like my dream and passion was the video camera, filming skateboarding. And as I got older, that dream and passion started to slowly fade away because of all the drugs, obviously. And then next thing you know, blink of an eye, I'm 27 years old. I have no money, no camera, no pot to piss in, no car, no nothing. That dream is completely out the window, right? I'm too old. I'll never make it to Hollywood. There's no fucking way in hell. And because I'm from the East Coast, an hour outside of New York City.
Okay.
So the dream of like the whole Hollywood dream was just so far-fetched because I'm a little kid from a suburb outside of New York, a drug addict, 27 years old. People who try to go to LA to get famous, they do it at a younger age. And once you get to a certain age, Hollywood just doesn't want you anymore.
Yeah.
You know, so that dream was gone. And then when finally, when I got sober, the second I finally gave up and let go of my own wheel and took direction from other people, it fell on my lap.
Yeah.
Everything that I wanted to do fell on my lap. So that's why I consider what happened to me very lucky.
Yeah.
You know, I believe in manifestation. I believe in things happening for a reason. I believe in all that shit. Back in the day, I never used to believe in it, but things have happened to me that I just can't. I have no fucking answer for. You know, like weird shit. And like I have 15 overdoses. I've died 3 of those times. So it's like, how come all of a sudden, the second I let go of the wheel and get sober, and just admit that I don't know what's best for me, all of a sudden this life that I have falls in my lap.
Yeah.
Granted, I have busted my ass and worked my fucking ass off to keep it, but it just fell on my lap. And it's like the most beautiful thing, you know. It's like it's better than any fucking drug. You know, it's like, and I'm an attention whore, you know. So it's like I love the attention that comes with it. I love all of that. And there's some things that have happened to me, like when I'm on tour with Steve out in London. You know, it's like never in my life did I think I'd ever hop on a plane across the fucking Atlantic. First of all, never in a million years did I think I'd be able to go to Australia. Never. I never had a passport until last year. Because like I'm drug addict. Why would I ever need a passport?
Yeah.
Like I'm not gonna have enough heroin to bring on the plane, you know, like I'm gonna get caught. I'm gonna be dope sick. So why would I ever do that? So it's like things have happened that are just like better than any drug. And it's mind blowing to me. It's crazy.
Yeah, I relate, you know, like I never had a passport, never had a driver's license. I'd never paid taxes. I'd never had a job.
Same. I never paid taxes. I paid taxes for the first time last year.
You fucked up. You fucked up, man.
Yeah. Yeah. Totally.
I voted and I paid taxes. In Australia, you have to vote.
Yeah.
And I was
in Australia, they allow you to, even being a career criminal, they allow you to vote.
Have to vote.
Wow.
If you don't vote, they fine you. It's not much. I used to just get the fine.
Yeah. I see here in the States, I'm not allowed to vote.
That's crazy, isn't it?
Even if I was, I don't think I would. But like,
I'm going to take them back on soon. I'm going to take the American government or the immigration back on. I'm going to. So I haven't been convicted of a crime for over 20 years. I've had one conviction in 40 years.
Yeah.
No, it was for drug smuggling, but
yeah. Just a little drug smuggling, you know.
Just a bit of cocaine. if a celebrity gets arrested with it, it's a recreational drug. When I got arrested, it was a narcotic.
Yeah, for sure.
Is it? Which one is it? You know, like, come on, you know, like, make a choice. You know, make a decision. But man, I'm so impressed with you've got a really good fucking feel for recovery. You've got a love of it, and I believe you've got to enjoy what you're doing. Otherwise, you'll stop doing it.
Yeah, I appreciate the kind words, man, and it's true. And for the first like 3 years of my recovery, of my sobriety, I was very deep in the program, you know, hitting meetings all the time. I worked in, I don't count this as being deep in the program, but my whole life was revolved around the program because I lived in the sober living. I worked at the sober living that I was living at. I went to the meetings. I went to all the meetings with the house, the mandatory meetings, and then my side meetings that I went to on my own, all the step work. You know, I was so immersed in the program, and it got to I remember it got to a point where I couldn't hear another word of AA. It got so burnt out in my brain, and there were tons of people in our sober livings that were dying from overdoses, and everything just became so like I wanted to fucking pull my hair out. And I felt like if I didn't step away for a little bit, it was just I was gonna start holding resentments of the program, you know. And so it's like I made a really I say it was a really important decision, but it was also kind of dangerous because like I moved out of the sober living on my own. At the same time, I also took a step back from the program. So it's like doing that at the same time, it's like it's dangerous, right? Because like I mean, you know, like when you're finally moving out of a structured environment and moving out and living life on life's terms, you paying bills, fucking everything. You have no structure, you have no accountability. It's just all you.
Yep.
So it's like I took a step. I left the sober living, and I also took a step away from AA. And I started traveling the country. I just drove around the country. I met up with other content creators and filmed videos with everybody all around the country. And it was I honestly think it was the best thing I ever did, because when I got back to the program, I fell in love with it again. And then I was able to, because I'm not living in it, I'm not preaching it, I'm not doing all this, I was able to find a balance between like the program, AA, find balance with the meetings, you know, and live a normal life, or somewhat normal, you know, like
what is normal?
Yeah, exactly. What is normal? Yeah.
If normal is what society tells me it is, I don't want that, you know. I'm not that guy, you know. But I agree wholeheartedly. I say to people, and I've been doing this for a long time, I'm a human being first, I'm a man second, I'm an addict third. Everybody keeps putting this addict fucking thing in front of themselves, and I can't go to a meeting, I'll relapse. No, you won't.
Yeah.
You'll go crazy before you relapse.
Yeah.
If you've got a network, your friends will go, man, you're fucking crazy. What's happening? See, you and I, what we're doing right now is a meeting.
For sure. Yeah.
We don't have to go to this church hall with a fucking hard seat and put my hand up. If I sit down with my buddy and have coffee and I'm talking about recovery, I'm talking about recovery.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've had the same spiritual advisor. I don't even use that word sponsor for 37 and a half years. We're mates.
Yeah.
And when he's crazy, I say to him, mate, you're fucking crazy.
Yeah.
You know? We've been mates for 42 years. You know, that's the good thing about recovery, but you maintain friendships.
That's one of the best things about recovery.
Because we're not ripping each other off, we're not fucking each other's girls, we're not fucking lying and cheating and stealing off each other, you know, like we have integrity, we have this incredible bond, and we support each other, you know. I love what I loved about the program, it gave me connection with people. And people that didn't want nothing from me, which was really strange coming from the world we came from. Yeah. Mate, if you didn't have dope, I didn't want to know about you, unless your girlfriend was really pretty.
Exactly. I didn't even care about that.
Yeah.
I was so, heroin had my life so like, it was holding on to it so tight that I didn't even care about the females. I didn't
Yeah.
even care. I had no interest in it whatsoever. The only thing I ever cared about was my next high and how I was going to get it. You
Yeah.
know, it was fucked. Yeah.
Sometimes when I do podcasts with people, I do a lot of criminal stuff because, you know, as I said, I wrote a book. I published my own book last month.
That's awesome.
It's called Born into the Lie of Crime. It's supposed to be life. But see, I blanked the F out. So it's born into the lie of crime. That's me as
I like that.
That's me as a little kid. That's my criminal record up there. By the time I'm 17, I'm charged for 4 attempted murders.
Holy shit.
And that's me as a 12-year-old kid holding a machine gun in my dad's house.
Wow.
That's how they dressed me as a 14-year-old kid.
Wow.
It's a really sad book. It's my life, but
yeah. Where can I find it?
On the Truth About Addiction, on my website, The Truth About Addiction.
On your website?
Okay, yeah, man. Cool. Yeah. But we'll work something out. But yeah, man, look, I just found recovery. I struggled with it. And then I found happiness, something I'd never had. And I found friendship. And what I craved for my whole life was love, understanding, and forgiveness. I'm a human being. Yeah. And I started to realize that I was a human being, and I started to get empathy and compassion.
Yeah.
Then all these gifts started coming, this higher power, which they talk about, and I still don't know who it is. I'm sorry. Yeah. After all these years, I still can't say Jesus Christ, Buddha, Muhammad. I went to Israel and I walked the holy city. I went to ashrams in India and meditated and prayed. I went into Buddhism. I read the Quran. And what I found out was the stuff I needed was all inside of me. Everything I was searching for was inside of me. Love, understanding, and forgiveness. I'm a human being first. I'm a man second. I'm an addict third. And for so many years, I had the addict in front of me and I couldn't look back. When I put the addict behind me, it motivated me to keep moving forward. You know, there's more to me than just going to meetings.
Yeah.
You know, there's more to me than just earning a quid. You know, I like money. I didn't get clean to be a bum. Yeah. I didn't get clean to live in a park. You know, I mean, I live in a nice home and I drive the latest model C8 Corvette. I'm a Corvette freak. Yeah. You know, I have a C7 ZR1 sitting out in the garage, sitting out in my garage out here. You know, which is in Australia, there's only 2 ZR1s in Australia.
Wow.
Yeah, because it's $500,000 car here.
Yeah.
Because it costs 70 grand just to convert them from left to right-hand drive.
Yeah.
But the C8's being released here these days, so we can buy the C8s in Australia. But, you know, I lived in LA for a long time, back in the 90s, very early 90s. My buddy owned Sunset Strip Tattoo.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah, right opposite the, next to the House of Blues, right opposite the comedy company.
Yeah.
And I hung out there for many, many, many years, you know, and Charlie Sheen used to come and get tattooed there, and the whole Motley crew, and fucking David Carradine. And he had a sign on top of his wall. His name's Greg James, really lovely guy. He had a sign on top of his door and it said, "People who are wrapped up in themselves make small parcels." And I looked at that sign, and a lot of the people that came in there were Hollywood people that were wrapped up in themselves. Not one person looks at that sign, and I used to look at it all the time and think, I don't want to be the small parcel. I don't want to be that guy. I don't want to be that small parcel anymore. But I had to work out what I did want to be. And that's the hardest part when I got clean, was trying to work out, because I was a career criminal and I'd never had a job. I knew nothing else. I had to find out, what do I want to do? And the funny part is I went to prison and I came out of prison. I went to prison. I got arrested in 2002 and came out in 2012. The world changed. Social media, fucking iPhones, computer, everything's computerized, artificial intelligence. Like, I'm like, what the fuck? My mate puts you on a dating app. I don't even know what this dating app is. The thing's going beep, 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 my phone's going off and Facebook's going off. You know, I just spent 8 years in a maximum security prison. And I didn't even know how to turn one of these things on and off.
Yeah.
And the whole world had changed. And I realized that because I love recovery. I really, really do. I'm passionate about recovery. I love seeing people come in broken and see the transformation. Man, it's like childbirth.
It really is.
Yeah. It's like,
it really is. I mean, that's why, isn't that a reason why they like say it's your birthday? Like the day you got sober
your birthday
was the start of your new life.
Yeah.
You know, and like it kind of is like childbirth. It's the start of your new life, and it's beautiful.
It's painful. We learn because we don't know. By the time we get into the rooms or wherever, however you get clean, we haven't got a clue how to live life on life's terms.
Yeah.
And then we fuck around, we make mistakes, we fall over, but the only thing we can't do is pick up.
Yeah.
That's the only thing we can't do.
Yep.
And say to everybody, I don't care if you screw around in the rooms. I don't care if you shoplift. I don't care. Just don't pick up. We will work through it. You will get a moral compass eventually.
For sure.
And you'll find out what's good and what's bad and what's right and what's wrong for you. Not what society tells you, what's right for you.
Yeah. Because
we were slaves to this drug of choice or drug of no choice for many years. And all of a sudden we get freedom. I love that word freedom. When I was in prison, Vinny, people used to come and visit me and they say to me, how come you're so fucking happy? My wife went back to live in America, took my 8-year-old daughter with her. The government took millions of dollars off me for the Proceeds of Crimes Act, the RICO Act. They took my houses, my cars, and my boats, all that shit, right? And yet I sat in prison still smiling. And people said, why? I said, I've got nothing else to lose. There's two things they could never take from me. They couldn't take my recovery and they couldn't take my tattoos. Yeah. And I've still got both. You know what I mean? Like, that was the truth, you know, because I was used to people taking from me. And today, I still feel so free. Like, the freedom I have is incredible. I have freedom from self, which is the greatest gift you get with long-term recovery. Because you've heard everything you know now, what you said was 100% correct. The first 3 years was your foundation.
Yeah.
First couple of years was your foundation. The deeper you dig your foundation, the higher you can build your mansion.
For sure.
It's like everything, man. And by doing what you did in the early days is what gave you this fucking incredible foundation and gratitude.
Yeah.
As long as we know that one drink or one drug away, we're okay.
Yeah, I mean, I think living in gratitude is probably one of the most important things as well. You know, it's like you have to be grateful for the things that you have, because it's so easy for somebody like me, because I lived my life so selfishly for so long, and I played the victim card for so long, and oh, poor me, and you know, it's so easy for me to be like, oh, my car is not good enough, or oh, I need a Rolex instead of an iWatch, you know, or like, and it's so easy for me to forget that 5 years ago I was fucking homeless.
Yeah.
So I was sleeping in a fucking porta potty. For 2 years I slept in that fucking thing.
Oh wow. Okay.
So it's like, not, like I said, I was 6 years in February, so not even 6 years I've been able to, a house, a car, a career, a fiance, like material shit, it's just shit.
Yeah.
But I like nice things.
100%.
You know? So it's like I've been able to acquire, like this is my office, you know, this is like rare shoes that are worth thousands and thousands of dollars. You know, it's like 5 years ago I was living in a porta potty
and couldn't afford to get a shot.
I couldn't afford to get a shot. It's like, and then it's also very easy for me to forget, you know, like, because I surround myself with people who have so much, you know, I surround myself with millionaires and super famous people and all this shit, and I'm sitting there, little old me, you know, I'm just like, and I'm like, okay, when is it my turn? You know, like, okay, the clock's ticking.
Your turn.
You know, the clock's ticking. When is it my turn? You know, and then like Steve-O, he said to me, he's like, bro, you lived in a fucking porta potty 5 years ago. You're pretty much famous. You have a gorgeous fiance. You have all this shit people dream of having, and you just want more. I'm like, okay, you're right. I got out of line for a second, you know, I forgot. But that's why it's very easy for like living in like being grateful and living in just like gratefulness is just so fucking important. You know, it's like I'm so grateful for the program. I'm so grateful for my foundation. I'm so grateful for my sponsees and my sponsor. You know, it's like I'm so grateful for that, because if it wasn't for all that, I wouldn't have all this.
Yeah.
You know, it's that simple, you know.
But you know, the really beautiful part is I realized this a long time ago that I had the multi-million-dollar mansion. It's true. And I was laying in bed. It was about 5 months before I got arrested. And I was laying in the waterfront mansion, looking over the water, and I had my 2 cats. It was Boxing Day in Australia. We were watching the cricket. And I was thinking to myself, I was 16 years sober. I don't give a fuck if I wake up tomorrow morning.
Wow.
And today I wake up every day grateful. I'd lost the gratitude.
Yeah.
Because I was so entrenched in crime that I'd lost my spirituality.
Yeah.
And recovery is about spirit, not Christianity or religion, spirituality.
Yeah.
Spirituality is love of oneself, love of others, love of the peace of mind. But my company was called Next, NEXT. And I changed that company because it meant I was never grateful. I was always for next.
Yeah.
My tag on my car was next.
Yeah.
Now the tag on my car is denial. My wife's tag's defiant because she doesn't do it.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, man. But you know, the gifts of recovery just keep on coming, man. Honestly, I wish I could give you how I feel at 37 years sober. You just go like, you probably use. No, I'm serious. I mean, that's why it's such a slow recovery.
Yeah.
Because we can only deal with what we've been given, you know. But I have the Rolex and I have the nice cars. But, you know, I drive a Toyota Hilux dual cab truck every day, a 2014 model. That's my daily driver. And I have these incredible motor cars because I had a collection of cars. I had a really successful, I've always had jewelry companies. That's why I lived in LA for 20 years on and off because I sold at Rodeo Drive. I sold jewelry to shops there. There's a shop there called Arton. He was an Armenian. I believe he was one of the Bin Laden family, and I used to sell to him a lot of opal and high-class watches and diamonds.
Yeah.
And I bought a brand new Corvette in 2000. I drove away and I wasn't even grateful. Today, if I'm driving a Mazda, I'm grateful.
Yeah.
I'm so grateful today. And that was the thing that was lacking in my recovery was gratitude. And I start to realize that I only have today. So all I've got to worry about is what I have today. And you don't see hearse driving down the road with the U-Haul trailer behind it, full of all your property and your cars. And, you know, we get rid of this earth with nothing. We go out with nothing. But what we have is our memories. And that's what we're making today. Even what we're doing right now, we're making a memory for you and I. We're making a memory for anyone that listens to this podcast. I mean, these guys are laughing, man. They should be heroin addicts. The last week of my using, I was sleeping in a fucking brothel in a whorehouse. My girlfriend was whoring. She wasn't, you know, she was my girlfriend, but it was some girl I'd met on the street.
Yeah.
And I was using the towels as a pillow. So every time a new client would come in, they'd take one more towel. So my pillow was getting smaller as the night went longer. So that's when my using finished. You know, my using didn't finish in the penthouse snorting lines of coke off supermodels. My using finished in a fucking whorehouse linen closet, losing my pillow as the clientele took away the towels for the night, you know. And I never want to forget that. I didn't have a car. You know, people talk about, I had, you know, my car was broken down. Or, fuck, you had a car? You were rich.
Yeah.
All I had was the clothes on my back. I didn't even have a change of clothes. In the end, I never even had a change of clothes, man. And the clothes I had on, I think I'd stolen them off somebody's clothesline.
Yeah, man. Yeah, it's crazy to look back at. You know, it's like during our addiction, you know, it's fun until it's not.
Yeah.
You know, it's so much fun.
Loved it.
Loved it until it's not. And even when it's not fun, I still loved it.
Yeah.
You know? And yeah, it took everything for me. And then the crazy part about it was during the tail end of it, when I was homeless, sleeping in the porta potty, I accepted it.
Yeah.
I accepted that my life, that this was going to be my life. I was going to live the rest of my life a lonely heroin addict, and I was going to die a lonely heroin addict. So I accepted it. So when you come to some sort of acceptance like that, it becomes like, okay, so like,
yeah,
who gives a fuck, you know? And to think back at that, it's so mind-blowing to me how, because that's not me, you know, that's not me. That's the sickness, that's the disease, right? Like accepting that life. And for me, just like, even like when I had like a year or 2 years sober, that like my perception and my everything was so different from that person who accepted that fate, you know? And just the short amount of time, because like even 6 years sober, I still consider myself somewhat of a newcomer.
Yeah.
Because I spent over a decade getting loaded.
Yeah.
And six years compared to 15 years, I'm still a fucking newcomer.
Yeah.
And but just this short amount of time, the way that your brain can shift and the chemical, because like when you're getting loaded, you're so chemically imbalanced. Like all your chemicals in your brain are just all over the fucking place. And so when you get sober, your brain starts to get back to normal, and you start to like have morals, you start to have empathy, you start to have compassion, you start to have goals and passions again, you know? And it was like, fuck, dude, I remember the day like it was yesterday when I was able to look in the mirror and say, oh, you're pretty cool.
Yeah. Nice.
You're not so bad after all.
Yeah.
You know, and then like that was like that moment of like finally having self-love where I could look in the mirror and love who I am today. That's it.
Yep.
I'm off and running. You know, it's like the sky's the limit. The confidence is back. The goals are fucking okay. I know what I want. I'm fucking going after it.
Yeah.
That, and it's just a short amount of time, and it's so crazy that like it's so simple, but it's so hard. You know, it's like it's the most simple, and so for years people were just trying to fucking give me the treasure map. They would here's the map to the treasure, just fucking follow it. Yeah. And I'd say, no, fuck you.
Yeah, click your heels, Dorothy.
Yeah, like fuck you, I know what's best.
Kansas,
you know?
Kansas, yeah.
Yeah, so and it's crazy, man. I like to call it magic. I don't believe in, you know, the fucking magic pulling a rabbit out of the hat kind of bullshit.
Yeah.
But the program, and I don't like to push AA. I don't like to push it. I don't like to push it. Yeah. But from my experience and my story, AA is what did it for me. You know, and it was like the second I just let go, and I was like, okay, what do you want me to do? Yeah. Yeah. It was over, you know?
Exactly. The minute I got a spiritual advisor and he started telling me, man, your thinking's up to shit.
Yeah.
And as I said, I'm 37 and a half years clean. About 6-7 months ago, my wife and I, I've been together with my wife now for 12 years. I've been a trophy husband. My wife's she's 34 today.
Oh, wow.
I'm 69. So, you know, I think she's using me for sex. I'm not sure, but anyway.
Yeah. Yeah.
So my wife and I get together. I don't know where I was going with that. I've forgotten because I'm old. Oh yeah, I got out of prison and I met this girl, and I'm 57 years old. So it's 12 years ago.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking my life's over, you know, I've come out of prison, I've got nothing.
Yeah.
12 years later, the miracles that happened because of my recovery, because I maintain all it is sobriety. All I do is not pick up a drug one day at a time, no matter fucking what.
Yeah.
No matter fucking how crazy I'm thinking or how bad I'm feeling, I do not pick up a drug.
Yeah.
Because the drug is not going to help me. It's going to compound and make everything worse.
Now, I have a question.
Yeah.
I have a question for you. What's your stance on people in recovery in the program who have gotten some sort of surgery?
Yep.
And they are prescribed pain medication.
Yep.
What's your stance on that?
It's not a relapse.
It's not a relapse.
No. A relapse
I agree.
is an intentional thing.
Yes.
If I take medication because I'm in pain and I'm stopping the pain, physical pain, that's not a relapse. If I'm having a hard time with my girl and I'm in emotional pain and I take medication, that's a relapse.
Yes. I agree.
Personal honesty. It's personal honesty. I'm a big advocate of when you're in hospital and you're on pain meds, be honest.
Yeah.
Okay, I today only need half as much as yesterday.
Yeah.
Today I need only half of it. It's a real grey area because a lot of people use that as a gateway to relapse.
Yeah.
A lot of people use it as a gateway to relapse. You know, me, it's all about what your mind's doing because I believe this is a disease of our brain. It's a thinking problem, not a drinking problem.
Yes. And the reason I ask you this is because I recently just had a huge surgery in my mouth.
Yep.
Like all these teeth are brand new. I had a bunch of extractions and implants on the back.
Painful.
And it was painful as fuck.
Yeah.
And they prescribed, and I knew that the dentist was going to prescribe me some pain medication. And I obviously talked to my sponsor, talked to a bunch of other people, you know, and they pretty much said the same thing you said, you know, it's like, it's all about like your intentions and honesty and stuff like that, you know? And, but the reason I ask is because there's a lot of people out like, traditional old school AA, you know, that would be like, no, it's considered a relapse. You have to start your time over, you know, like, and I think it's a whole
Fucking
shit.
ridiculous. You know what that is? I want to be in control of your life. I want to tell you how you're going to recover, motherfucker. Because you don't do it my way, it's the highway. Fuck off.
Yeah.
Off. Man, do you know what? Honestly, it frustrates the hell out of me that we're grown men, human beings, men, then someone wants to tell me, if I don't ask you for an opinion, don't give it to me. If I don't ask you for advice, don't fucking give it to me. You know, I used to have a buddy, he got bashed to death in a relapse with a house brick, got his head caved in. You say, when you share from the floor and you share personal information, it's like throwing a soccer ball in. Every fucker wants to have a kick of it.
Yeah.
You know, that's why you have a sponsor and you take the advice from your sponsor, you know, because, man, there's so many people. You got to remember, we're not a better mental health. 12-step programs are not a better mental health. A lot of people's agendas are not the fucking same as ours. A lot of people's opinions are not the same as ours. And I say, opinions are like arseholes. Everybody's got one. Most of them stink.
Yeah.
Most of them stink, you know? So, man, honestly, I've had surgery. You know, I got hit with a chainsaw right through to the bone. What am I going to say? Oh, no. Morphine? I'm a heroin addict, you know? Like, I'm like, bring that motherfucker on. I'll tell you this story. This is a true story because I'm old. I'm allowed to tell you this story. A few years ago, I had a heart attack. Bang, I have a heart attack. They rush me to hospital. They give me morphine straight away. Bang, they rush to the hospital when you have a heart attack. Then they go inside, they put a stent in my heart. Well, because of my crazy brain, addict brain, I think I'm not going to take the heart medication. I'm not going to take the blood thinner, the cholesterol, because I've been healthy, really fit all my life. Even, you know, I was an ex-boxer. So I was always this super fit guy. And then I'm having lunch with my wife and 28-year-old daughter, the half American. We're having lunch at this really fancy restaurant on the ocean. I'm getting chest pain, and I realise I'm having another heart attack. This is about 5 months after the first one. I'm like, fuck, you know. And I go and lay on a bench. I don't tell them. I go because I was scare my wife and kid.
Yeah.
And I come back in. I said, let's go home. I present to the hospital, and they go, "You drove?" I go, "Yeah, yeah." And they go, "Like, you're a fucking idiot." You know, like, what are you doing? No, I talk to my heart specialist. He comes and he checks me out, and he goes, "Oh man, your heart's gone into fucking spasm. How are you going with your medication?" I said, "Oh, I haven't taken it." And he just looked at me and said, "Are you stupid?"
Yeah.
He said, "I just put a foreign object in your heart, and your heart's trying to eject it. That's the pain. You're not having a heart attack. Your heart's trying to push the stint out. You've got to take fucking blood pressure, and you've got to take blood thinners." And I realised, I thought, what a fucking, that's that doctoring, that old school doctoring that they give us in AA. Well, no, you can't take that. No, you can't take that. Bullshit. It nearly killed me. And it was subconscious that I did that. It wasn't even consciously. It was like, I don't need that shit. I'll be right. I nearly killed myself, man.
Wow.
I never tell people don't take medication. I take what you need. I did a really interesting podcast with a Dr. 𝗩𝗶𝗍𝗍 the other day. She's a scientist, doctor, neurosurgeon, and she's all about the DNA of the brain. And she reckons that, you know, they've actually found a part in the DNA where there's something wrong with their chromosome, all that bullshit. And it was actually really interesting that she talked about, you know, she started off as a GP overprescribing.
Oh, wow.
And she noticed that she was in the country overprescribing first. And then she went to the big city and she noticed I was still overprescribing. Everyone was getting habits and oxys and all that shit. And she realized that I'm a drug dealer. I'm not helping people. I'm a fucking drug dealer. And she went off and done all the DNA stuff. And it was really interesting to hear her say that everything's overprescribed. And the attitude was, oh, 2 a day's not working, we'll give you 4. 4 days not working, we'll give you 8. She said it was always double down, double down. That's what the big pharmacists were telling her.
Yeah.
2 oxys aren't stopping, make it 4. 4 not working, make it 8. And she realized that she said, I've just become a fucking drug dealer. And she changed her whole path and went out from the GP into the DNA of addiction. Her husband was an alcoholic too, which helped. But yeah, it's a good podcast. That won't be out for a couple of weeks, but it's well worth listening to. It's well worth listening to, mate. She was a really interesting lady.
Yeah. Yeah, I'll check it out. I like that. I like that kind of stuff. It's very interesting.
I'm open-minded to anything, Vinny. Anything that's going to help me, I'm open-minded to. I was open-minded to anything that got me stoned.
Yeah.
Like if I could put in a spoon and mix it up, even if it floated a little bit, I'd still put it away.
Yeah.
I mean, many times I've mixed up, I knew that I'd been ripped off, but I still put it away. Don't worry about that, you know? So what I do now is I take what I need and I leave the rest behind.
Yeah.
If it doesn't sit right in my soul, I fuck it off.
Yeah.
I don't take a lot of information from people in the rooms.
Yeah, the only reason why I asked is I like to get other people's opinion, especially somebody like you who's been in the rooms for a long time.
Yeah.
I just like to fish that question out a lot because this was the first time where I've had to take some sort of medication, and I already knew like I'm the type of guy like I'm not gonna suffer, you know. I'm not gonna get something done to my body and then be in so much pain and then suffer just because somebody says that it's a fucking relapse. Like that would do more to my mental state than fucking anything.
We've suffered enough.
Yeah.
Suffered enough. Man.
We have suffered enough.
I don't agree with that at all. Recovery is all about freedom from pain, freedom from self. So see, we can do anything we want as long as it sits right in our brain.
Yeah.
Once we have a secret, then the disease takes control. Once we have the secret, that's when the disease goes like, mate, you took 4 yesterday, you're only supposed to take 2. Oh, fuck it, take 8. No one's going to know the disease. I call it the pedophile. That voice in my brain, because I spent a long time in prison, so I'm not very keen on pedophilia. So
For sure. Yeah.
I have this thing in my brain. I made the 𝗦𝗁𝗶𝗍𝘆 the pedophile. So when my brain tries to talk to me, I go, fuck off. I know who you are. Because you've been fucking since I was a kid. My brain was fucked up long before I picked up a drug. Long before I picked up a drug, my brain was, that's why I liked it, because it stopped the brain.
Yeah.
I was trying to kill the voice. That's what I was all about. There was no partying using for me. I'm one of these guys that shot up and stayed at home or in a hotel room or anywhere, just walked down the streets.
Same, yeah.
Yeah.
Was the
I wasn't the guy that was out like, yeah, I wasn't that guy.
Yeah. No.
I was that guy there trying to get unconscious.
Yes.
I use it like as a sedative.
Yep.
I can't understand people that take ice.
I know.
I think, why the fuck do you want to be awake? I want to be unconscious.
Yeah.
Why do I want to exaggerate my emotions? I want to fucking not feel them. You know, that's why I was always a downer sort of guy, you know, and I tried coke once in my whole life. And I got on a drug called Ritalin, which is an amphetamine.
Yeah.
And I was escapee from prison and I was on the run. So I'm already crazy and paranoid. So then I got on something that's going to make me more paranoid.
Yeah.
It makes no sense, you know?
Yeah.
And I get arrested in the middle of the drug capital of Australia, escapee from prison and wonder how come I got caught. Yeah. Me and using, we don't get on too well, you know?
Yeah, for sure.
But Vinny, I love what you're doing, mate. I've written down these whole things and I don't need to ask you any of them. What's your future plans, brother?
Shit, man. I have some goals and some things that I'm working on as far as like my career goes. I've been working on this project, a TV show that I hope to one day sell. And it's a sketch comedy show, and it's called 8=D.
8
8=D. So if you write 8=D down, it's a dick. It looks like a penis.
Yeah. I like that. Yeah.
And the way that and the reason for that is there's a few things. It's life is just one giant dick. You know, it's just one giant dick joke.
Yeah.
And so that's one reason. And the other reason is what we do, we get censored so much, you know, whether the things that we say, stuff that we do, whether, you know, like we show some skin, you know, so we get censored a lot. And so this was my way of saying fuck you to the censors, because you can't censor that dick.
Yeah.
You can't censor that. That's just a math equation.
Yeah, right. I wrote it down. I thought, yeah, I see it.
You know, so it's like that. That's one thing. I have been in communication with the person who owned the sober living that I went to and I stayed sober at. Me and him have become very close, and me and him have been talking about opening up another sober living. And so that's something that might be in the works in the next few months. I still got the podcast going on. Touring is all done, so I'm home for a while, which is good. And yeah, man, that's about it.
So did you come to Australia with Stevie O?
The Steve O, yeah.
The other month.
Yeah, it was we did Australia, I think it was in March.
Okay. It's funny, I sent him an Instagram, but he probably wouldn't have even got it. I sent him a message.
Yeah, it's hard to get through to Steve O's social medias.
Yeah, look, most of the time they don't even get the people. That's why I was really happy when you answered. It was like, cool.
Yeah.
And I like people that answer. Even if I can't do something, I answer and say, man, I'm so sorry, I'm really tied up until such and such. It's just called courtesy, man.
Yeah, man.
I'm a funny.
I like this. I like this kind of stuff, you know, and especially when it's about recovery. I think it's super important, and I think no matter how big or small the podcast is, you know, like their numbers or whatever, it doesn't really matter to me. But especially with like the recovery and sobriety based ones, you know, I think it's pretty important because somebody like myself who's been able to build this little following that I have, and people look up to us. You know, there's kids that look up to us, and I think it's important to, like, I get countless messages on Instagram from people that are struggling with drugs and mental health and all that stuff, and I get the same question, you know, like, you look like you're having so much fun and you're doing it sober. How? You know, I get that question so much. So I think it's really important to just show people, like you said, like, sobriety is fun. It's like, I'm doing some of the coolest shit ever.
Yeah.
You
It
know,
has,
like,
it has to be fun.
yeah,
When we can't maintain it.
yeah,
You know, miserable and disgusting, you know, like, come on, you know. It's what we make it. It's all in our brain. Everything's what we make.
for sure. Yeah, for sure.
But you know, yeah, man, look, it's been a real pleasure having you on, Vinny. And mate, I hope if you come back to Australia, let me know, man.
Absolutely, dude.
Yeah, yeah. And if you want to grab that book, it's very confronting. It's harsh because it talks about growing up as a child in a gangster family, you know, which is nasty. But it is what it is, man.
Yeah.
It is what it is.
Check it out.
I shot my first man at 16 years of age.
Yeah, that's wild.
You know, and I hadn't even taken a drug yet.
Yeah.
You know, but it is what it is, man. If my dad had been a doctor, I would have been a fucking brain surgeon.
For sure.
If he had been a lawyer, I would have been a Queen's Counsel because I wanted to be better than him.
Yeah.
And, you know, so I mean, he was just unlucky that he was a criminal. But today, I'm not a criminal. Today, I'm not a gangster. Today, you know, that's a really nice thing about what we are today.
For sure.
It's just I say, you know, people that judge me, I say, you like breaking into a house I used to live in. No one lives there. I'm not there anymore. You can break into that house all you like, motherfucker. I'm not there, you know.
I love it. Yeah.
Vinny, mate, honestly, you've been a pleasure. So easy to talk to.
Cool, man. I appreciate that. And thanks again for reaching out.
Thank you from the Truth About Addiction, Vinny. I really appreciate it, mate.
I solemnly swear that I will tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. So help me God.